Recently, we dropped our Bentley Turbo R off to Classics Monthly contributor Rob Hawkins to set about fixing, fettling and generally improving the old girl. We've got something big in store for the Bentley, so with as much done as possible in the time available, I took the train up to Leeds to collect the car, hoping that Rob was still speaking to us after we dumped such a massive project on him.
So 3 weeks ago, you dropped the car off to me. I thought, well, we've got a 3-week deadline, lots to do on it, but the basic thing was to look at the mechanical aspects, get it serviced properly, do all the engine oils, gearbox and diff oils, check the brakes over and see what we need to change. And that sort of opened a bit of can of worms really, because whilst the servicing was easy, and I did most of the servicing myself and found it very straightforward, we suddenly realised there was a few issues. Steering rack leak, so we needed a new steering rack. Rear brakes, we're pretty much past it, so we changed all the rear brakes, all the calipers as well, which meant the handbrake pads as well were changed. Looked at the fuel lines, they were perished, they were rusty, thought it's safer to change them. They weren't leaking, but I knew for a fact they would be leaking in maybe a year's time. Luckily these guys at Prestige have helped us. I put plenty of time in myself as well, so I've learnt an awful lot about the car. I suddenly discovered how easy it is to change the oil in the engine, the gearbox and the diff. Loads of space. When it came to doing the fuel lines, again I just volunteered and thought we'll have a go. I was quite surprised at how much space there was and how straightforward it was. A bit complex when you come to the hydraulics, such as the suspension system and the brakes, but we're only talking of fluid systems and various things that just need knowledge, and luckily these guys at Prestige had that knowledge and they could guide me. Otherwise I'd have been stuck, and that's really the point I think we need to make here, is that you can look at it and you can apply a general principle towards fixing things, but you do need specialist knowledge sometimes for certain procedures. Maybe the nastiest surprise was when we got it on the ramp and power steering fluid pipe blew off and all the fluid leaked over the floor. It was just looking at it and trying to predict what was going to happen in the future and thinking we should preserve this and we should have preventative maintenance. Parts are brilliant. I can't believe what Flying Spares managed to get hold of. And also the reconditioning things. So you look at the steering rack, you think it would be a fortune, and it wasn't. Same with the rear calipers. And the hardest thing, would you believe it, is the spare wheel carrier. If you wanted a new one, it's over £1,000, so we managed to take ours off and repair it because there's a bit of rust on it, got it all painted up, back on, looks as good as new. I reckon you could do most jobs, definitely. You can do most jobs yourself. The hardest bit comes when you want to do pressure testing of the system for the hydraulic brakes and hydraulic suspension, but the rest of the stuff, especially with a good workshop manual, most of the servicing jobs you could do yourself for definite. But bear in mind, things are awkward. Taking those rear calipers off, there's about 4 brake pipes to undo, which will be seized. But not only that, you can't get the caliper off unless you've loosened 4 massive bolts that hold the hub to the trailing arm. So 1.5 days later, we changed the rear calipers.
So after all that work and all that money, have we got a good car at the end of it?
I think we have. I think mechanically, we've got a good sound car that's been strangely looked after in a weird way. So everything was greased underneath, so all the linkages for the gearbox, for the handbrake system, was all greased up, thoroughly gunked up, which preserved it. And also there was a very slow oil leak from somewhere, so that preserved the exhaust system and the sump pans and everything else. So once we've cleaned it all off, it's gone back to almost as good as new. And thankfully I can't find any structural corrosion. The bodywork is a little bit tatty around the edges, but it's not going to fail an MOT on tatty bodywork. The fact that the sills and everything else is solid, yeah, that's a bonus. So mechanically it's a great car, I think, to use, but if you want to win any concourse competitions, it might not scrape through yet.
Mechanically sound and usable, that'll do me just fine. And now it's time to jump aboard for the long drive south.
So what's next for the Bentley then? We've taken our subpar, bought sight unseen online Turbo R up to a really, really good standard now. Nothing leaks, nothing squeaks, nothing rattles, nothing's broken. It drives fantastically and it works exactly as it should. And now, I think it's time we use it a bit, because we've been invited on a road trip in the Bentley. Our Turbo R is going to be going on a trip with plenty of other incredible classic cars and some very enthusiastic owners, all the way through some beautiful British country roads, celebrating finally being at the end of what has been a very difficult 18 months of pandemic. And Jeff and I are going to celebrate by taking the Turbo R out in style. Stay tuned for that video in the coming weeks. But for now, as we roll into a national speed limit zone, I think it's time we deploy some Turbo R power.